Yo, people. Good fucking morning, evening, afternoon. Yo. Sorry. Alright. How you guys doing? What's up? What's up? Shed the hair up. Google Chrome. How you all doing? Sades, Flow, Zombie. No, fuck you, no. And Toshi. And everyone's lurking in the chat. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Fuck you! No, fuck you. Fuck you, Ezekiel. What was that? What the fuck? That's kinda weird. That's kinda weird, bruh. What should be know how you want it? Now how you want it? Awesome. Thank you. I mean, fuck you. Oh, the mistake he does is being good. Well, what do you mean? Well, me, huh? Who, huh? Oh, wait. But there we go. Oh, fuck. I fucked up the alert again. Hold up. Everybody, don't panic. It's all part of the thingy thing. I said don't panic. Alright. Should be good. Okay. As you guys can see in the title, I am not going to play Overwatch 2. At least not anytime soon. Because I don't get invited. I don't get the access. At least not yet. Probably they're saying it in waves and shit like that. So we'll see. But then again, in a couple hours, it'll be more accessible to a lot of people. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not really too hyped about it in terms of like I really want to try it, but you know, it's a new thing. I kind of want to try it just for the sake of trying it. So I guess we will see. We will see how it goes. Does any of you guys actually get the access to Overwatch 2? Because it's kind of random. And I guess it depends on the region, I guess, as well. I'm not too sure. Of A1 picture looks at her manga pitch. Hell yeah, man. I wish. Hope for the best. Hoping for the best. Hoping for the best. 1 second. As usual. Put the latest drawing on the fucking corner. How you doing, by the way? Toshi. How's it going? How's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. Oh, sorry. Genji is still trash, buff him, Blizz. I mean, is he though? I feel like Genji has always been the you know, it's not too good, but it's not too bad. It's like right in the middle. You know? I don't know. Most of the DPS they fucking nerfed them to the like down bad section that not a lot of people kind of, you know, looking at them anymore. Type of thing. Wait. Oh my god, it's USX. Holy shit. I see you've officially a Koribo. Or should I say Cory? Hey. I like that name. Sounds nice. I speak Chur as well. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Or else. So I can extend this a little bit here. Make the people bigger. Right, as a very big one for you. Elden Ring lore Michaela the Unalloyed. Oh shit. 1 hour? Okay. I'm gonna watch this when I'm about to go to sleep. It's like gonna be a going to sleep type of video. Alright, thank you though. What the fuck? 1 hour just for one single character? Jesus. Chicks didn't like it? I mean, it's aight. Well, how do you get your name though, by the way? How do you get the Koribo? Cory. Koribo? Koribo? Sounds very unique. Google Kuribo. It's like Indonesian. Kuribo. Oh, okay. So it's like a variation of Kuribo. I'm not a Yu-Gi-Oh guy, but I remember this card when I was a kid. Interesting. I wonder if this character is actually based on the Indonesian language, because Indonesia also have this word called karibo, which basically a type of hair that's like puff like that, like you know, like kuribo basically. Like if you Google karibo like this, you'll get the similar hairstyle ish, in a sense. I changed the U with O because the here kurumin dik dis. I see. Okay, that's a very wise choice. Good stuff. All in all, I like the thing. Corey. That's nice. That's nice. Have you tried Magma Blade in Elden Ring? The one that only 2 man serpents have? Only 2 man serpents have? Magma Blade. Are you talking about the Magma Worm sword? 2 man serpents? What the fuck is a man serpents again? I forgot the monster's name. Let me see. Magma Blade Elden Ring. Oh no. Oh. Yeah, I see this. I've seen it. But no, I haven't. What is it? Is it a short sword? Or is it just like a... Oh, it's just a long sword variant. Yes. I thought for a second you were talking about the Magma Worm blade. Oh, it's a curved sword. Oh shit. It's disgustingly strong when you dual wield it. I see. I mean, the blade looks kind of cool. Although I'm not a big fan of the curved sword. Not much of a big fan. Gotta be honest. Brother man, brother man. Whoa! Alright. Well, do I want to continue the last drawing? I kind of wanna. But I kind of want to start over. Yeah, I'll start over. Never mind. Dude, I haven't logged into Elden Ring for a while now. I kind of missed it, not gonna lie. I've been kind of jumping around here and there. Like, I would love to play as much as Elden Ring as I can, but at the same time, I kind of want to go around as well. You know? Hmm. Looks like some of you guys are still playing around Elden Ring, which is good. Which is good. I'm just really excited to get to the fucking expansion. Oh shit, sorry. Okay. Where is it? Oh, I didn't save it, didn't I? No! I drove my phone in McDonald's, spied, and that I think Sprite, and that motherfucker started charging. Wait, what? Huh? Like the soda Sprite? What the fuck? Valorant new agent waiting room? Oh wait, that's also tomorrow, or I guess in a couple hours, isn't it? Oh shit. I don't think I can play tonight though, considering I still need to update it, and if I update while streaming, it's gonna be super fucking slow, unfortunately. So I probably gotta play tomorrow instead. Ooh, can't wait though. Fade. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Then again, I still need to grind though. Yeah, I wish I could just like fucking buy it, like in the Apex, instead of just like grind. I mean, I can buy it, but I have to use fucking real money for it, which is kind of dumb. Like, no. No things. Use that's yes, that's Sprite. Jesus Christ, you need to calm down when you type, dude. It's okay, I kinda understand though. I got you, I got you. I got you. I kinda wanna draw Leo today. For some reason. Been a while since I draw some boys. Edgy character equals everyone will want to play it. True, I guess. Yeah. To be honest, I'm chilling though. Not rushing it. Since I'm a one-trick omen anyway, so it's not like oh, I really need to try this new character. I'm not like, nah. If I cannot, I'll just pick omen and get done with it. Omen one trick, let's go. Who do you mean in Overwatch? Used to be Cassidy Cole. Yeah. Is basically my main. But I stopped playing Overwatch since like pre-Brigitte. So before Brigitte got released. Like the last new character back then when I played it was shit, I don't know. Like, been a while. So it's like when the DPS is still a viable option. Basically. I mean, it is still now, but like, meta-wise. I'm talking. Yes, sir. It is your. What's up, Chingo? Some free shooter gets a new character identical to the rest. Players, oh my god. Any other game gets $1 million by expansion that took years to make. Players, dog shit. Motherfucker, it's not identical to the rest. What are you fucking talking about? If you're talking about the looks, that's not out of question. It's a competitive shooter. Every single additional update thrown into the game is basically equivalent to Elden Ring new DLC. Because competitive game is all about you know, mastering. Like easy to learn, hard to master type of shit. So when something new comes into the game, you have to relearn everything, and it's exciting. Not like relearn necessarily, but like, there's something added into the equation. And you're kind of like, oh shit, now you can do this, now you can do that, now she can do this, now the map is like this and that, like, a single character added into a competitive game, and the whole game changed. The whole game shifted. It's amazing. It's like one of the beauty of a competitive game. Any kind of competitive game. Learn helicopter tricks in Battlefield 4. And then what? Like, it's different though. Like, I get it, like, doing those kind of things in Battlefield's kind of cool, but like, and then what? It's like, yo guys, I can do a helicopter trick in Battlefield 4. Wow, okay. Like, it's different, man. The appeal is different for me. No offense though, but I mean, I'm pretty sure some people really find it like, oh shit, that's cool. But like for me, it's like, okay. Then moving on. I don't know. I'd rather like get good in Valorant rather than learning how to do those tricks in Battlefield 4, because Battlefield 4 does not have like ranking system, like all that kind of stuff. I'm a very competitive in terms of like those kind of shit. So stats and everything is just very delicious. You know? I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I got something. And then you get a 80-0 stats consistently, and every server bans you. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. Battlefield was cool, but like the way I see interesting things is different nowadays. They added Scoreboard to Overwatch. More toxicity. I can already imagine the fucking, I did the most kills in this game and my team is dragging me down. Oh my god. It's so heavy. You guys are so useless. Classic. I'm pretty sure they need to. They just do it because, you know what I mean? Because they know it's gonna attract more people into it. I don't know though, but what do you guys think about the fact that Overwatch is now 5v5 instead of 6v6? I kind of it doesn't bother me that much in terms of like how the game's gonna go, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people kind of feel like, yo, what the fuck? Like it changed a lot of the dynamic of the game, for sure. But every change is comes with a lot of positive and a lot of negative. Depends on the contacts, I guess. I like it a lot more. Not that much shields too. Oh yeah, true. One tank. It's a one tank system. Is it like it has to be one tank, or it can be like, you know, two tanks if they want to, or like it's just fixed one tank max? Like I'm not too sure about that yet. I'm gonna be honest, or I kind of have no idea rather. Like I only watch a little bit of the beta plays this morning. I watch XQC, Seagull, Moon, Super, and I think that's about it. I was watching it while I was working. It's pretty fun. Only one tank. Interesting. It's definitely gonna make the game a lot less of a, you know, a lot less of a groupy action and more about like scattering around and try to, you know. I want to try the new hero. Looks fun. Oh, Sojourn. I don't know. Was it Sojourn? Sojourn? I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, she's pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Quake action. With the left click is a projectile machine gun, and then the right click is a fucking rail gun, a hit scan rail gun. Oh my god! And she can slide and jump from the slide, like a super jump and shit. That's such a Quake shit. You just need a B-hop, honestly. Oh my god. It will be a fucking Quake character, basically. I'm actually losing all faith if Overwatch 2 somehow does not flop. I don't think it's gonna flop necessarily. Because, here's the thing. Despite all the memes and everything, there's still a lot of people out there that still really likes Overwatch 1. Like the Overwatch. But because of the lack of content, or rather the lack of content that the community actually wants, you know, the game is becoming less enjoyable and more of a there's not a lot of games out there like this, so I kind of have to play this type of game. So, you know, with this new Overwatch 2 shit, you know, it's some kind of like a huge update. It's not necessarily. I wouldn't call it a sequel. I'm not gonna call it a sequel. It's not a sequel whatsoever. But it brings a lot of things into the table, a lot of new things, and I feel like a lot of people kind of likes that, and that's cool. That is kind of cool, man. Am I hype about it? Not really. I never really like Overwatch in terms of like it's not really my type of game that I want to get good into. But I did play a lot of it back then, enough that I kind of dwell into it, type of shit. But I'm always excited for a shooter game. This is my forte. You know, I mean, there's still like 800 peeps playing 2042. Everything has a fan base, dude. 800 people in 2042 is not playable. I'm sorry. Like Overwatch probably have like still like around, I would guess, at least 8,000, 8 to 10,000 at least, and now probably have a shit ton because of this update. Probably gonna hit 100,000 again, even more. I mean, of course, it's gonna hit a lot more, but uh, like Overwatch never dipped below 5,000, I would say. Like, I think the lowest it hit would, if I would have to guess, probably 5,000. The lowest. The game is just too special. That's the thing. Oh shit! Hold up, I got a call. 1 second.
Your mum was talking to me, smile.
Yo! Sorry, that was a long talk. I'm back. Just a little chit chat with mom. With me mom, yeah. Chit chat with me mom. Yeah, mate. Fucking what, yeah? What's up, Wanson? How you doing? Tell her last week was fun. Just read the title. Ronnie the Witch Undress. Why? The fuck? Dude, she's just a doll. We've seen her without the dress in the fucking ending of the she's just using a doll, man. Jesus Christ, down bad. Holy shit. What's up though, by the way, one said? Welcome, welcome. And Mary, what's up? Oh, buzzing. Thank you. Your mom cook. Haha. How you guys doing? Welcome, welcome to the stream. Mm. Hmm. I don't know how to draw him. Self-portrait? No, no, no. This is Leo. I've been drawing a lot of Rhea. I kind of have to give some love to my other OC as well. To my boy. Hmm. Do 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 do. 24 hours? No, I don't think so. It is still weekdays, motherfucker. Alright, come down, you bitch. Still gotta wake up for work tomorrow and shit, motherfucker. Hello, Doomy. What's up? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. How's it going? Wow, 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 wow. Doing good. You're exploding people. It's not going good though. I know. Don't worry about him. Just having fun. 20 followers to 1K. Wait, is it? Oh, damn, you're right. I didn't even pay attention. Hell yeah! Oh my god! Almost there. $1K, man. What the hell? There's a lot of numbers, isn't it? It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. I kind of need a bigger panel for this guy. Hold up. Maybe I can make him a little bit. I don't know. What's crazy? Just got back. You crazy, man. You crazy. You crazy motherfucker. No swearing in non-Christian channel. Wait, what? Wait, what? I think that's how it works. No swearing in non-Christian. Huh? Pull up, pull up. Trying to figure something out. Bruh. Dude, I've been drawing too much booba. I kinda forgot how to draw cool. Been drawing too much cute and pretty. How do you draw cool? Say the ear's not there. Mm. Only language you don't understand? I'm not even gonna try, dude. I'm not even gonna try to attempt to fucking pronounce that. I'm good. Something, something, yes. Okay. Downloading now the latest 5 VODs, rest is gone or just on YouTube. Oh no! Database wiped because I upgraded the version we used to the newest. Oh shit. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. It's on YouTube. That's all that matters. Still have it recorded on the internet forever. Together. I wonder why they would wipe the database though when you upgraded it. Like, shouldn't it have like some kind of a not a failsafe? What's the word? I don't know what's the word for it. You know what I'm talking about? Like some kind of a thingy thing. Some kind of a failsafe, but it's not a failsafe. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about, no. Does the scheme change? Ah, I see. You check the title of the last link? Yes, I did. I need to add more FFZ emotes, 17 and Chatterino. Yes, you should. They're safe. They're 100% safe. Literally everyone on the fucking Twitch. Well, majority. Well, majority is wrong. The major's been using it. I haven't sub to 7TV or just supporting because one of my friend is actually a moderator there, and he created like the videos content for them as well, the media stuff, which is kind of cool. Ashy, follow him. Cool as fuck. Okay, going to sleep. We'll look tomorrow into the filter thingy. Should be in the front end, not in the back end when I almost destroyed. It's okay, man. Gotcha. Have a good sleep, man. Appreciate it. Thank you, by the way. No. Chat. No's doing all the fucking cool shit related to this channel. From the fucking website, raddtrap.live. And everything's that, you know, going in the background. throughout the fucking web, you know, raddtrap stuff. So give him some love. Nono's doing some big brain shit. Thank you, man. Much love. The real mod. Yeah, no, I was the one who watched. Don't worry. Take it easy, man. Take it easy. Love you. I mean, fuck you. FFZ, 7TV, and Chatterino. Yes. FFZ, I mean, you know, they've been in the emote game for the longest, I think. I'm not sure. FFZ and BTTV have been the longest. I don't know which one first, but FFZ was pretty, you know, it's pretty everywhere. And 7TV is a brand new one, but it's the most viewer oriented one. Like they're fucking cool about providing emotes and stuff, basically. And Chatterino is Chatter. I don't know much about Chatterino, but they're also been in the community for quite a long time now. I also have been using it for 2 years now, so they're not the smoothest, but they're the only one that, you know, actually function for me. So yeah, I guess, you know, this and that. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, noted. I shall add them all. Yes, sir. Looking to make a new shit for the channel too. New intro, stream starts, stinger. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do it up, do it up. It's part of the fun part about the, you know, doing stream. Customizing your own channel and shit. Fun and stuff. Although I'm kind of over, like, with the customization and stuff. I'm kind of like, just, well, you kind of see with the fucking, with how this channel has been going. Kind of like, whatever works. Like, I love, like, the amount of time people, especially with people that actually commission me, cause I've been getting a lot of emote and panel commission recently. I'm doing it right now and stuff, and they always ask me like, dude, you make some good stuff, but like, why what's wrong with your panel? I was like, listen, I like making good panels and emotes for other streamers, right? Like, you know, it'll look good on them. But listen, for me, I'm I'm happy with how it looks. I could make my panel like updated. I know it's like 3 years old by now, but I'm too fucking lazy to do my own shit, man. I don't know. It might have to be. It might have to happen to. It has something to do with getting paid for commission, probably. But yeah, at the same time, I should probably update my stuff as well. I think emote is fine. Like some of my sub, I'm pretty happy with my current sub emotes. But panels and overlays, I could do more. I feel like I could definitely do more. I could. I could. Streamer not showing off good stuff. Okay, not that good stuff. I mean, but not that one. I'm talking about like the emotes and Twitch panels and stuff like that. I don't really open commission for spicy stuff, but you know, recently I've been kind of wanna widen up my thingy, you know, my genre a little bit. Maybe you know. It's not like I didn't take, you know, some spicy commissions, but it's been a while since the last time I take one. Eh, nani? Oh, I'm dumb. But yeah, spicy commission, definitely have before. I just haven't take one in a while. I want to make more VRC music videos, but the effort and my Ableton is acting up all the time. Ah, shit. I know. Making the like videos definitely, or I mean music videos definitely extra effort. I've been doing some recently. I posted them on YouTube. Raddtrap on YouTube, by the way. Check it out. But it's more of like a minimalistic stuff. The one that I can do real quick. Like the Joji Noodles one that I did in the Rain VR chat world. I like that one a lot, even though it's like very minimalistic. But it's just fun. Like it's very, I don't know. I actually like making those kind of videos. You know what I mean? Like it's very relaxing. Actually, let me check it out one more time. It's only 40 and 30 seconds. Holy shit, it's so short, dude. Like this one. I need to do more of these stuff. Look at Leo in the corner.
Stay forever, you know more than anyone. Yeah, whoa, and it's you that knows my darkness, and you know my bedroom needs. You could blast me and my secrets, but there's probably just no need.
Ah, dude, I love. Like I want to do more of these stuff. Like it's very soothing, very relaxing. The process of recording it and everything. This one as well.
I live in a constant state of fear and misery. Do you miss me anymore?
Yeah.
And I don't even notice when it hurts anymore, 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 anymore.
It's very short and sweet. I don't know. I like it, man. It's nothing crazy and everything, but it's like it's relaxing. Especially when you just don't know what to do. I actually did those two because I was like, yeah, I don't know what to do right now. Like it's like one of those moments, you know what I mean? You're just kind of like, VR chat have a lot of really beautiful maps and stuff, right? What if I just like go there and make some songs or like make some covers, and then when I hop on there with on desktop, I realize, wait a minute, some of the angles are very good. What if I use this as like some kind of a small music videos? And I made those. It just works. I like it as well. How it turned up. I want to make more of those. No rushy though. Of course. Only when I'm feeling it. It's like one of those vibe thing. Big vibe. Also, once I actually get this new GPU soon, hopefully, I'm holding my savings to get a GPU. Once I done that, I'm planning to get a full-fledged 88 keys piano keyboard, so I can start jamming one of those very, like there's so many songs that I want to do that have a very strong piano vibe to it, that I feel like I really have to do it with a fucking piano. But at the same time, I just want to find an excuse to learn new instrument, I guess. I don't know. It's fun, you know? Upgrade? Well, for PC, I guess. Fingers crossed. Apparently the price is still going down. Very slowly. But I'm also not gonna wait for too long, because, I might miss it. And the price might go up again. So I'm just gonna wait for this month's pay up, and I think should be good to go. I purposely save up this month though. Like I spend less on food and everything. It's like, oh my god, gotta hold it. I haven't drink less fucking coffee, dude. Less coffee. Dish. I know it's crazy, right? That's crazy. Sacrificing coffee for GPU. I had to. I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like a good sacrifice as well, because at the same time, I kind of do less of my caffeine addiction. But at the same time, the fucking caffeine withdrawal is fucking sucks, dude. Caffeine withdrawal is fucking real. Like, holy shit. It's not a fun experience as well. God damn. Ah. Drink tea. Tea is cheaper. Not necessarily. It kind of depends, I guess. I mean, depends on what kind of tea do you drink as well, right? But I guess, yeah, I mean, in general, tea's technically cheaper. Not wrong. But I don't know, man. I mean, coffee is different, dude. I don't know. Especially coffee milk. Oh, it's my biggest weakness. Fucking, you know. And tea with milk is different. Also, like I'm not a big fan of it. Like there's a term for it, right? I forget what it's called. Like a tea with milk. Like there's a name of the beverage of that. I think it's Malaysian drink. I don't know. I forgot, man. I forgot. Ho ho ho. Lol. Drink water. Oh shit. Jenny! Give it a reading. Hydrate, hydrate. Thank you for a reminder. How you doing? What's up, what's up? God, this angle is really challenging me right now. I'm doing good. I got paid today from work. Oh shit. Big. Payment. Salary. Oh shit. Damn, some of you guys got paid like a little bit earlier uh than me, huh? Then again, it kind of depends on the company, I guess. Mine is like literally the last day of the month type of shit. So I gotta wait a little bit more. Sadge. Waiting. Getting paid. What you spending it on, Jenny? Get yourself some, I don't know, fucking, I don't know, boba. Do you like boba? Get yourself some boba. Or some shit, I don't know. Coffee? You like coffee? Like me? I drink coffee every day. I have a problem. Wow, boba, but I've been spending my bubble tea money on subs instead. I see. It's generous of you. What do you think I've been sub for you for 1 year? I haven't been drinking bubble tea. What the fuck? Should buy yourself some bubble tea too. Thank you though. I appreciate it, but you also should also buy yourself some shit, man. I don't know, bubble tea or something. I'm not a biggie fan of boba, but like I know boba's delicious, dude. They're fucking sick. But I feel like I kind of consciously reject myself to get addicted to boba because I can get addicted to boba if I let myself. Because I do love that chewy bubble tea and the sweetness. And I'm pretty sure if I like bubble tea, I will buy it literally at least twice, nah, 4 times a week, 100%. Oh god, it's gonna be dangerous. It's gonna be dangerous. No joke, my buy Sony headphones? Ooh, which one? But I'm going to see how I continue to feel about it for 2 weeks. Which one specifically? Are you talking about the fucking WX something something? I forgot what it's called. The one that's a lot of people talked about. Bling. Yeah, the Sony WH-1000XM4. Yeah. I remember because my friend next door is also aiming for it, but instead he went for a earbud instead because of the efficiency. But yeah, that headphones fucking rocks. But it's hella expensive, I know. So yeah, take your time. It's a big purchase for sure. See if you're gonna like it or not. No rush. No rush. No pressure. No pressure. Mhm. 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 I'm actually thinking about like not really priority, but I've been thinking about upgrading my headphone as well because it's not broken, but it's been with me for fuck 2015. It's now 2022. 7 years. 2015 or 2016. It's been with me for too long. And it's been like showing me like dying states like a couple times. If you guys don't know, like if you like never seen it, let me show you something. I'm using Audio Technica. You cannot even see it anymore. It's an Audio Technica ATH MX4, and you might notice something different about my headset is that Look at this. These are 5 zip ties on each of the thing. Because both of the fucking thing, this part here, the ankle thing that makes this shit turns, breaks. It's a plastic. It's a cheap plastic. The only steel part of the fucking headset is this. And like this shit breaks a couple of time already. And right now this headphone is being held on by 10 zip ties. Yep. But you know what? This is one of the best sounding, neutral sounding headphones that I've ever had in my life. It is yeah, Audio Technica. I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of people already know about this. Audio Technica headphones are like, especially M40X, M50X are like one of the best in the market in terms of like neutral sound, which is perfect for like music producing and everything. And yeah, I've been liking it a lot. It's really hard for me to choose other headphones, like a new different brand or different pair of headphones. Because I don't know, this is my ears has been accustomed to how this headphone sounds. That because most headphones were a little bit bass focus or treble focus. It's very rare to find a neutral sound, which is like this, like right in the middle. So like whenever I use my friend's headphones, which do like bassy, or a gaming headphone, stuff like that, those like very bassy sound or treble sound, it's like, I don't know if I like this, like which is kind of troublesome sometimes. But it is what it is. It is very fashionable. I'm not the only one though that does this. Because despite of how the quality of the sound, uh, it's no secret that the headphone, this specific one, M40X, have a kind of a shitty build, basically. Like it's not the worst, but it doesn't last that long. It's partly because for $100 headphone, it's $100. Most of the budget goes into the sound. And yeah, it makes the fucking headphones very, like, it's good sounding, but it's a very fragile one. Like it's not a premium feeling, basically. Which is fair. But at this current year, there's already a lot of better alternative. I bought this when it was in 2015. So, you know. I don't think I would recommend this headphone anymore. I'm not sure. I'm not really up to date with the audio design and everything, but I'm pretty sure you can find like a better one around the same budget even. They're absolutely expensive Bluetooth headphone, like 1.2K. I don't know how special they are though. Okay, I don't know about Bluetooth headphones at 1K. I also have a fucking Bluetooth, not headphone, but earbud. And like, motherfucker, this shit has cost me like fucking nothing. Well, I wouldn't say nothing. It's a $60, $70 Soundpeats True Engine 3. And it's been really helping me, especially I have a bike, I have a motorbike. So I always use this whenever I drive, in case like phone call, or I just like listen to songs while I'm driving. Very convenient. And yeah, is very fucking sick. $70, really fucking good. Everything. And no, it's not Raycons. Listen, no offense. I know Raycon's like one of the most sponsored shit throughout YouTube and Twitch. Like some of my fucking favorite content creators sponsored by them. And this might, in case in the future I might get sponsored by Raycon, this is probably gonna fucking deletes it. But I am not buying a Raycon. I am so sorry. Listen, I a Raycon. No, it's a no go. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to say. Raycon is a no go. Like, it's not shit. Like, how do I say this? It's very, it's very bass heavy earphone or earbud. Like it's appealing for people who like to listen to that very, EDM or like, you know, like I got a feeling, like those kind of fucking music. And when you listen to it with like some specific other songs, like I'm not a big into those genre. Like listen to like fucking metal, rock, like a lot of treble. Maybe there's some bassy stuff, but like more of a neutral sounding. And those headphones are not good, man. I'm sorry. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. But yeah, not a big fan, I'm gonna be honest. But I don't blame either for people like, buying it. Like it's the same shit as is this a similar thing as Beats. Like if you buy Beats by Dre, it's similar thing, similar concept. Like it's good enough, but like you can definitely get a much better sound from something else, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. For the price. You know? I'm definitely not gonna get a fucking Raycon sponsor in my life. Fuck. But I'm not gonna accept a sponsor that I don't like either, so yeah. Yep. That's what I think. Then again, I'm very picky with my audio stuff, okay? I'm a very picky guy when it comes to audio or music related shit. Because, I play music, man. I produce music casually as well, but very passionate about it, so. If you're just some casual listening, I'm pretty sure Raycon is fine. I'm pretty sure they're fine. They do just fine. Boom, 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 boom. There goes my sponsor. Ugh. What the fuck? It's almost 2 hours already? Holy shit, time goes by. But if you have Raycon or if you're sponsored by Raycon, hey, good for you. Hell yeah. Keep at it, man. But yeah, just a piece of my thought, I guess. God, I love Pliny. This song is so good. Time to react. Soon, soon, soon. Not yet. Bam, bam, bam. Hmm. I feel like there's something off. Hmm. Hmm. Hold up. There's something bothering with the eyes, or I guess how I draw it. Seems off, but I'm not sure what's off about it. What should we play today, though? Actually, I have no idea what to play. I just wanted to fucking go live and draw. I'm gonna just chill a bit before sleep. Good night. See you next time. Alright, Jenny. Have a good sleep. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you around. Bye bye. Bam bam bam. Bam bam bam. Mm. What is that? The Backroom Survival? Sounds interesting. Let me see what this is. The fuck? Oh, God, it's a horror game. Save this. We'll save it up for Spoopy Saturday. How about that? I think I know the concept of this game, though, overall. It's another zero fucking horror game. Heart attack generator. Mm. Mm. Randomly generated for your speedrun? Shit. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Hold up, I gotta tone down for that Nightbot. I'll open a different song. Let me tone down that bot real quick. I think it's been doing a little bit too many of that message. Dum-dum. Let me try to draw him real quick. See what it looks like. I'm in color. Bum bum ba dum ba da da da. Da 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 dum. Wait, is it Leo? Fuck, I forgot Leo's hair is white. God damn it. I keep forgetting that. Oh well. Let me just finish this. Just recolor it later. Let me clean up the interaction with the skin. Boom, 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 boom. What the fuck did I draw as one piece of hair here? Let's do it. All right. Oh my god! Fuck. Alright, I'm kind of fucking hungry right now. Is there any good videos for React Andy today? Okay, this song. Kinda wish I get a fucking Overwatch access today. It's kinda like one of those times there where I just don't know what to play. I feel like an Overwatch video would be good. I mean, getting access to Overwatch 2 would be good. So I can at least play something. 1 hour long Let's Play video? No. Nothing like that, please. Overwatch 2? Yep. Yep, Perino, yep. Oh. Like a lot of well, since yesterday, basically, a lot of the streamers got it. Like the big boys, the big Overwatch content creator stuff. It'll be basically more into public later on today. Which is, to be exact, in like 2 hours you can like kind of start grinding for a key. Or wait until you get an access if you already requested. Stuff like that. You know? I'm not really too hype about it, but I feel like it's kind of cool. How is the game again? I don't know how much is it if you're brand new to the game, but if you own Overwatch 1, Overwatch 2 basically free. The PvP, the default, competitive game. You only gotta pay extra if you want a PvE content. The co-op one. Basically. Oh, it's that song. Sepate. It should be, if I would have guessed, it should be like around 30 to 40 bucks by now. Maybe. Could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But I don't think it's 60. I think that's unfair to make Overwatch to a $60. But I could be wrong again. Because essentially, it's still the same game, but like it's even in the same engine, but it's a lot more, you know, maybe graphic is a little bit more improved, just a little bit, and they promise a lot more optimization. Even though I feel like Overwatch is already very optimized in itself. You know? You know what? Let's just check out the fucking... Where's Saints? Saints! I'm gonna start it with or without you. Fucking skill up video. You're about to miss it. Gonna fucking get mad at me if I... Watch it. What? Saints! Oh my god, it's AFK. I'm starting, you motherfucker! Actually, hold up. And there's some videos that I want to watch as well. Da, 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 da. Where is it? Sorry. Hey. 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 Yeah. Oh. 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 Just a bunch of trailers. Then we can skip it. Check out skill up instead. I hope you hear it, Saints. I'm about to start the video. I'm sorry.
Good news, everyone.
Oh,
God of War.
Fucking got ears. Nope, that's wrong. There you go.
Good news, everyone. God of War is now playable on mobile. I'm not joking, by the way. It's possible through GeForce Now, powered by Pentanet, so stick around to the end of the video to learn more. Gamers, I don't think I've ever seen a more stacked news week in the history of this show.
Your video, Saint, your video, Saint, your video, Saint, your video, Saint, your video, Saint.
I think it's not. I think it's AFK.
I don't think I've ever seen a more stacked news week in the history of this show, and I'm not even covering the Elon Twitter news because I shudder to imagine what my comment section in this video would look like if I did so. Video games are providing more than enough excitement for me this week, thank you very much. We've got massive news coming out of pretty much every console manufacturer and publisher, Nintendo labor disputes, Ubisoft acquisition rumors, Activision Blizzard earnings call dramas, The Avengers is getting new content, Elon Musk just bought Twitter. The world is going mad, but This Week in Video Games is here to help you make sense of all of it. So ladies and gentlemen, here comes the news. Let's start with some Sega news. Recently, Sega was sounding off about some bullshit new super game initiative they were driving, which can basically be boiled down to make more AAA games and probably include some NFTs in them. It's a weird amorphous strategy that's grounded more in commercials than it is a commitment to quality game making, and this week we got two concerning pieces of news to underscore the point. The first comes courtesy of Bloomberg, who report that they've confirmed from a number of sources that Sega are set to reboot both Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. Now that's really cool, by the way, since I love both of those games, and I'd love to see them brought back, but here's where it gets concerning. Bloomberg are reporting that both of these reboots are big budget titles and that they're intended to be big revenue generators, citing a comparison to Fortnite dollars. Now listen, proper, faithful sequels to these games are not big budget titles. They're AA at best. And they're absolutely not meant to be making big dollars. They're to service a niche, loyal fan base who played these games back when Rollerblades and The Offspring were cool. The idea that these games are going to be big breadwinners for Sega is a huge red flag to me because it tells me that this company is making these games for all the wrong reasons. Don't believe me? Well, this week, Sega unveiled Sonic Origins, which is yet another remastering of the first 4 Sonic games. It's like the 50th time these games have been packaged up and resold. We all give Bethesda grief for continuously reselling Skyrim to us, but Sega has pimped out old Sonic games so many times it would make Todd himself blush. To make matters worse, the announcement was accompanied by a pre-order edition Matrix that would make Ubisoft blush. Look at the shit they got on this. Mirror mode locked behind a pre-order or a deluxe edition.
What the fuck? Standard edition. You only get the main game. Start Dash Pack. Free DLC including pre-order of the standard or digital deluxe. 100 bonus coins. Why? Mirror mode unlock. Letterbox background. Oh my fucking god. This is so disgusting. Jesus Christ. Character animation in the main menu is locked behind a fucking digital deluxe edition? I'm done, dude.
A letterbox background? Fucking camera controls in a menu locked behind some premium fun pack? 100 bonus coins? Sonic collects rings, not coins. What is this shit? It really is an absolutely pathetic scraping of the barrel. It's just kind of sad, to be honest. Like, this could have been a thing where we're all like, hey, yeah, more Sonic games, cool, whatever. But now we're all going out of our way to dunk on it, and rightfully so. Hell, even other video games are getting in on the action with Devolver's upcoming
Good shit. Oh my god. Hell yeah, I love this kind of marketing.
To Yomi cheekily tweeting out their own Matrix just to highlight how stupid the situation is. Well played, Devolver. Still the best PR in the business. Keep it up. Turning now to Sega's ancient rival, Nintendo. They found themselves in plenty of trouble this week, with things getting progressively worse as more and more stories came to light. It started when Axios reported that Nintendo has been hit with a labor complaint. A former employee was alleging that Nintendo and a partnered recruitment firm were engaging in union-busting activities. The claimant is still anonymous, as are the precise details of their claim, but it was enough to get Nintendo to formally respond to the matter publicly, saying that the employee was not fired due to unionizing efforts, but because they had leaked confidential information via social media. The next break in the story came courtesy of Kotaku, who spoke to 4 people familiar with the matter. They said that the terminated employee asked a question at an open forum meeting about the unionizing of game workers across different parts of the world, including in North America, where Raven staff were in the process of unionizing to protect themselves from Activision's greedy and fickle management. A month after this question was asked, the staff member was sacked mid unexpected contract, and apparently the social media post that this was attributed to was so vague on details that it would have typically resulted in just a warning, but that's just the opinion of those close to the matter. Kotaku's article is really worth a read because it's full of anecdotes about Nintendo and their approach to contract workers, treating them as second-class citizens and using every loophole to deny them job security and benefits. For example, it's common practice for contractors to be on a 10-month on, 2-month off rotation, so that Nintendo doesn't have to assume any ongoing benefits liability for them. A tactic that is used widely across many industries, but that certainly doesn't make it any less gross. There were also plenty of other examples of people who were chastised or disciplined for asking questions in group meetings, with one notable example where one employee publicly called out the lack of working from home flexibility for contract testers, where permanent Nintendo staff had a lot more flex. Sometime later, the employee was sacked along with 5 other team members. They were given no notice and they were told to leave the building that day. As if all this wasn't enough, Kotaku had another piece this week where they did a deep dive into one of the centers managing Joy-Con repairs at the height of the Joy-Con drift debacle. Kotaku's sources describe an outsourced center that was understaffed, undertrained, and overworked, leading to a large number of mistakes and dissatisfied customers. It's a bad news cycle for the Big N, who to this point have managed to avoid many of the HR scandals that have plagued other publishers. Given that all of this is unfolding so quickly, I expect we'll see other Nintendo employees coming forward and other stories emerging soon.
Yikes.
Watch this space. Turning now to Sony, and they didn't have a great week either, following up on the news that Microsoft was working on in-game advertising platforms that would serve up ads mid-game in free-to-play titles. It turns out that Sony are working on exactly the same thing. Bloomberg report that Sony had been working on the tech for 18 months, and like Microsoft, plan to launch it sometime in 2022. It too will apparently be focused on free-to-play titles, but we all know that's going to end up being a test run for when ads eventually snake their way into premium games as well, like EA has long been trying to do with its sports titles. Interestingly, Bloomberg did specifically...
Oh my god. Yui with the raid. Welcome. Oh shit. Kind of a off timing. I'm eating right now. Taking a break from drawing, but welcome. I was drawing some stuff, as you can see. Your and my OC, Leo. What's up? How's your stream? Welcome. Dong slide. Thank you for the raid. I bet you're doing Apex Legend as usual. Rank grind. Hopefully, I think. Ugh. Oh my god. Sorry. Oh my god. No rank grind? That's new. Usually you do rank some stuff. No Gar, no rank grind? I see. Oh, probably no PC Gar right now. I see. That's cool. Hopefully you had a good stream. Thank you for the raid. Appreciate it. But yeah, we're watching some videos right now while I'm eating. Probably gonna continue drawing again after this. Yeah, thank you for the raid. Welcome.
Raddtrap is Alavirov.
Oh! Speak of the devil. Speak of the gago. Sorry. What's up, Gara? Welcome. And Yua. What's up? No rat, no rank. I want to play Overwatch, man. Right now. Overwatch 2, not Apex. Been a while though since the last time I played Apex. Anjing. Putangina. Okay. Welcome. How you guys doing? Overwatch 2 just balance changes. True, but there's some new maps and some new hype, you know, kind of like, oh shit, some cool shit, you know, it's kind of cool. Can ask me and Gara, we have Overwatch, not Overwatch 2 though. The beta access should be like gonna, you know, get people can get around for free soon enough. But right now it's still streamer access. It should be like in 2 hours, like everyone can like get them as easy as like sign up the beta access on the website. But when are you gonna get it on your email? No idea. So just keep an eye out, I guess.
Content will involve watching ads and promotions in return for in-game items like skins. It's exactly what powers a huge number of mobile games, and it's coming to a console near you. One brief Sony tidbit though, recently an employee posted that they were among the first new hires in a newly created game preservation team. which is pretty cool to be honest, because if the PS3 era has taught us anything, it's that video game console hardware is so complex and mysterious that its secrets
Oh
can
my
be
god,
lost
Jesus
away.
Christ, dude, another raid. Dude, what are you guys raiding while I'm not doing the drawing and I'm actually eating right now? Ashy! With the raid! Welcome, welcome! Thank you so much for the raid. How you doing? I was drawing, but I'm eating right now, so we're watching some videos. There you go. Some your from Spike's family, and some I'm drawing some of my OC as well. How you guys doing? Donk! Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? Eating Pac-Man. Yes. I'm eating some pasta, actually. Pasta, mamma mia. Aglio olio. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, it sounds fancy and shit, but I just like it. So it's some good stuff. Yeah. Thanks, doing. What's up, what's up? Thank you for the rate. How's your stream? I saw you already got the fucking Overwatch access. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? You lucky son of a bitch. I was actually planning to get it, but apparently I didn't get the fucking access, man. What the hell? Oh my god. Food draws people attention. True, true. Why is the dong naked? What? The dong is not naked. Dong naked is naked. Apu is not naked. Is Apu naked? No, it's not. Ugly oleo? No. Aglio olio. I think that's how you pronounce it. Maybe a bit pronunciation. That made me waste my 7k points. Oh, just sketch me. Draw adult big boob version of my character. Jesus Christ. Sketch requests. I'll only do that on the sketch request stream. But don't worry. Every points redeem are on queue automatically. So I will see it when I draw it. Okay? Overwatch. Want to let me your account to play? Do it. Oh my god. I thought your channel...
Kangargo smile.
I thought your channel points is called Lele Points. No, Jesus Christ. Lele Points. Dude, why do you remind me of that one? Come on, man. God. I wonder where she is. I remember. The TikTok, what was shit? TikTok or Vine? I forgot. I saw a loot version of your. This is not loot. This is okay. This is normal. Looks like just some very cool looking your. A lot of loot version. I mean, it's the internet, you know. What do you expect? What do you expect? Oh my god. How's Overwatch, by the way? Ash. Good, bad, okay, no comment. Overwatch 2, I mean it's Overwatch 2. Banana, tomato. Loots will be banned now. True. Same old game, but it's kind of fun. Do you like? Does it have like a, you know? Like, to be fair, Overwatch has always been fun, but it's like they just been getting kind of stale, I guess, over the years. Bell is more enjoyable, but a few characters feels OP. I saw it this morning. I watched some streamers play a lot of Doomfist, and boy, boy, Doomfist is a lot more aggressive and a lot harder to kill. God damn. It's kind of fun though. I don't know what I'm gonna play a lot though. This Elon does have an L, huh? Sombra good now. I miss her. Avocado is useless because he's categorized as tank. Huh? What do you mean? Huh? Who's avocado? To be fair, I'm gonna be honest, I never used Sombra. I only used her when she was a new character, and I was like, not my character. And I just never, like, literally never play as her at all at that time. Doom is categorized as tank. Sombra says some Mexican shit on her ult. Oh! Right. Sometimes it sounds like avocado is useless. Yeah, I guess that's why Doom feels a lot more aggressive and a lot more tankier because, you know, he's a tank. Now he's 450 HP, and they replaced his uppercut with a jump just to maneuver around. Basically, just like it's basically like a more chaotic Winston, I guess, if you can say it. It's like that tank that jumps around, fucking annoys the shit out of you here and there, left and right. But I'm actually excited to give him a try. Looks like I'm gonna have fun with him. How do our wrecking ball feels now since it's only one? Dude, the 5v5 is gonna be the most you know, biggest changes of the Overwatch 2, in my opinion. I don't know though. I mean, for people who literally play Overwatch by the daily, I'm pretty sure it's a huge change. Like, it's big. But for me, like, it's whatever. It's like I play Overwatch like casually. Back then. But I'm pretty sure it's a huge update. Like, a huge game changer for a lot of people. He usually flanks while the main tank is pushing to something. Yeah, exactly. That's why I meant that the tank role in the Overwatch 2 is gonna be a little bit more, you know, a decision making rather than just like one tank stay with the group when push and the other one just start annoying the shit out of people. Like this time you have to like actually decide what to do and be smart about it. And it kind of like makes the game a little bit more, I don't know, less like you gotta get a lot more kills basically with one tank. Less people tanking the damage and just like more killing, more, I guess, I don't know. I don't know what's the right word for it. But I'm down for it. Overwatch my main Zarya and Doom. I like fisting people to death. Jesus Christ, that sounds morbid. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely gotta check it out when I get the access to it. But I don't think it's gonna be anything like, oh shit, I'm gonna start playing Overwatch every day now. I don't think so. I'm just kind of chilling with it because I'm not really a big fan of a role-based shooter. I play Valorant like almost daily, and I grew up with CS:GO, so you know how it is. I'm more of a precision shooter gamer. So yeah. All right, back to the video. I forgot we're watching video and shit. Dude, what is this?
The biggest Xbox news for the week is that Halo isn't doing so good. And I'm not talking about that god-awful TV show because holy shit is that bad. What the hell were they thinking? Who is this dude in Master Chief's armor? Get him out of there and get him back to the docks. That's a Wire Season 2 reference, by the way. I hope you like that one. Anyway, I'm not talking about the TV show. I'm talking...
Wait. That's Master Chief? Oh, no. That's John? He is wearing Chief armor. It's 117. Oh no. Why? Do they do this again? What the fuck? Oh no. Oh no. You know what they should have do? They should have do like what Mandalorian do. Literally never unmask the dude until like maybe later on if people start like really questioning the face. But Mandalorian, the whole fucking season 1, he didn't unmask himself at all. I think I haven't finished the fucking season. But the only time he unmasks is like in the last couple episodes, like during the emotional episodes. What the fuck is this, dude? This is not. Oh my.
Dude in Master Chief's armor. Get him out of there and get him back to the docks. That's a Wire Season 2 reference, by the way. I hope you like that one. Anyway, I'm not talking about the TV show.
Very easily distracted
I'm talking
gamer.
about Halo Infinite, a game that launched very strongly with some of the best feeling Halo gameplay, well, ever. But even despite a lengthy delay, it was clear that the title was unready for launch. Now, we're deep in the live service delivery territory, and it's becoming increasingly clear that 343 weren't at all ready for the work required to keep this game alive. This week, 343 tried to amp up the arrival of Season 2 of the game's multiplayer, which kicks off next week and delivers some new maps and game modes. That's nice and all, but it turns out the next season will be 6 months long. That is a long, long time between drinks when it comes to a live service game, trying to stay ahead in a very, very competitive market.
6 months?
The season does offer up stuff like network co-op, but no couch co-op, and a Forge beta, the outputs of which will carry forward into the final release of Forge whenever that happens. Woven throughout this update was a commitment to what 343 are calling Priority Zero, which is the health and well-being of their staff. The implication being that 343 knows there's a lot of work to be done here, but they don't want to crunch their staff to get it done. A lot of people don't like hearing about this stuff because they think it's an excuse, but you know what? I do like hearing about it, because in an industry that is so rife with crunch and worker exploitation, I'm glad to see a major developer like 343 publicly stating their commitment to treating their people well. At the same time, it's very clear that 343's management have bungled the launch of Halo Infinite. Missing multiplayer features, an overly greedy storefront, and a lack of live service updates have squandered the huge store of goodwill that Infinite was able to generate at launch. And with the flop of Halo 5 and the technical disaster that was the Master Chief Collection, it's right that many people are now talking about whether or not 343's senior leaders are the right stewards for this franchise. Hell, with Microsoft buying Activision, there's talk about getting one of the COD studios involved. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't mind seeing what another studio could do with Halo. I'm not saying pull 343 off, but I do think some fresh eyes and hands are needed. 343 have had 4 chances with Halo now. Halo 4, the Master Chief Collection, Halo 5, and now Infinite. And look...
I now know what happened to Just Crazy 1. God damn it. Good one.
Where we are, some 10 years into the experiment. Something needs to change here, and I do wonder what sorts of conversations are being had behind closed doors at Xbox.
Wait, is that the fucking Battle Royale?
Beleaguered game makers, Ubisoft is still kicking around, doing their thing. But if recent reports are to be believed, they could be in the market for a buyer. Now, this is not the first time these sorts of stories have circulated, but most of those were more speculation than anything else. This week, though, Bloomberg reported that a number of private equity firms are circling the wagons, studying the French-based business to see if it's plump enough for an acquisition.
Wait. Assassin's Creed publisher Ubisoft draws buyout interests. Entered any serious talks. Ooh.
This lines up with previous reporting that Ubisoft have been getting their own affairs in order, auditing different parts of the business so they're all ready if a suitable suitor comes a-knocking. The rumors come after years of turmoil for the publisher, with an ever-expanding cost base, a significant delay to many of their next headline projects including Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon, a number of failed projects like mobile games and Hyperscape, remember that one? And
dude, I'm not joking.
A number of failed
I actually enjoyed
like
Hyperscape.
Games and Hyperscape, remember?
It's just very underdeveloped.
That one.
This game is very underdeveloped, I swear to God. This is actually a fun game. God damn. It's like Quake, but Battle Royale. It's just, they don't put enough money and resources in the fucking game. It was very lackluster. Oh my God, dude. Fuck. But Ubisoft, I gotta rename it to Boobisoft and make R18 games. I will buy your games. Nice.
And
Business.
a very big belly flop into the NFT scape with Project Quartz. None of this compares to the cultural reckoning unfolding over the past few years, as hundreds of Ubisoft staff have pushed back against an entrenched culture of sexual harassment, abuse, and cronyism. CEO Yves Guillemot's son has recently left the business, meaning that the family dynasty ends here. Apparently, yet another reason why Guillemot is keen to sell right now. Private equity buying up this business.
That's kind of sad, though.
That's not good, man. Ubisoft has a lot of overhead, some 20,000 developers.
When your
no
own
way
son
all those people keep their jobs if some
quit
faceless
your own
moneymen come in.
fucking family
Private equity doesn't
business,
care about how
that's
they're
kind of
seen in
fucked
the
up.
market. They don't have a brand or
But it's
reputation
probably a
to
wake-up
protect.
call
To
for
them,
them.
Ubisoft is just a big slab of meat
Yeah,
to be
Ubisoft is
chopped up
going
and picked
downhill.
clean. I definitely think new leadership at Ubisoft would be a good thing, but as the old saying goes, not like this. Just briefly, while we're on Ubisoft, they did announce a new game this week called Project Q, and they gave it pretty much the worst strapline ever. Quote, a team battle arena letting players truly own the experience, end quote. Obviously, anyone with half a brain took this to mean that it was
no,
Ubisoft's next
NFT.
blockchain NFT game. But apparently it isn't, so Ubisoft's
okay.
Twitter handle had to spend the next 5 hours responding to everyone saying there are no NFTs planned for this game. So what the hell is it then? No one really knows. They're calling it a team battle arena game, but it's not a battle royale game. You can own the experience, but it's not an NFT game. All we know is that you can sign up for updates if you like.
Is it a
Seems like
Roblox
a pretty
type?
dumb way to reveal a game to me. Final quick Ubisoft tidbit is that Roller Champions has gone gold. If you've
Oh
never
shit,
heard
I
of
love this
one,
game.
I don't blame you. It's a roller derby game. I played it like 3 or 4 years ago at E3, and it's a really small game, so I don't know what's been going on in terms of development for this one. No official announcement for this one yet, but I guess it'll be out in the next few weeks, and I think it's going to be free to play, but don't quote me on that. Alright, we've dived pretty
We're
deep
definitely
this
gonna check
week,
that
but it's
out.
time to hit the bottom of the barrel, Activision Blizzard. Interesting little piece of goss to start. Turns out Microsoft were twice outbid before successfully buying Blizzard, though that negotiation happened in the early 90s when Microsoft was first outbid by, and I'm not making this up, a timeshare camping company, and then by a French water utility. This was before Blizzard had produced any of its mega franchises, but it's kind of funny to think that Microsoft could have owned them all this time and saved themselves a cool $69 billion. Anyway, Microsoft did end up purchasing the company, in large part because Bobby Kotick had mismanaged it so badly that he was desperate to sell. And as that sale was happening, questions swirled around Bobby's future. Would he stay on with the company, or would Phil give him an eye-watering parachute and send him off into the sunset? Well, it seems like no one knows the answer to that question, since Axios' Steven Totilo spotted this week an updated SEC filing from Activision Blizzard that made the point that absolutely no discussions had been had between Microsoft and Activision Blizzard about Bobby Kotick's fate should the merger conclude. It's a bit of a bummer, since it's nice to imagine that Phil has already prepared Kotick for a swift exit, but these sorts of merger processes are always precarious things, so perhaps Phil is just waiting for the ink to dry. Either way, I can't see a world in which Phil keeps Kotick in place, so I'm pretty sure he'll get the boot at some point.
I mean, I don't want to hate on people for no reason. Like, you know, I mean, dude definitely deserves some hate, but I definitely don't want him to stick around the gaming industry at all.
Outside of this issue, Phil has his work cut out for him when it comes to getting Activision Blizzard back on track.
What?
This week, as part of their earnings call, Activision revealed that it had lost over 60 million monthly active users in the past 12 months, a decline of some 15%. That tracks with an overall decline in revenue from both box sales and in-game spending, with
Damn,
Activision
they have a
attributing
lot of
most of
fucking-
the loss to an underperforming Call of Duty Vanguard. Activision did go on to say this year's Call of Duty is their most...
Okay, hold up. How many? The company had 372 million monthly active user, down from 372 million monthly active user. Dude, what? Dude, people actually still buy Call of Duty, huh? Holy fuckaroonie. What the fuck? I mean, I don't judge, but Jesus Christ. 372 million. For quarter ending on March 31st, Activision Blizzard had revenue of 1.77 billion compared to 2.28 billion during the same period last year. Holy shit, that's a lot of money.
past 12 months. Title yet, whatever the hell that means, and there's plenty on the docket with a new Warzone coming this year as well. All of that combined with Diablo Immortal, WoW, Dragonflight, Overwatch 2, and Diablo 4, and probably some other surprises.
We're still talking about Diablo Immortal?
Activision Blizzard over the next 18 months, so there's a good chance that Microsoft will win back those lost players and then some. Very briefly, The Avengers is getting more content.
Yay!
I really have to take the L on this one because I was certain that Crystal Dynamics would just ship Spider-Man and then just put this one out to stud, but nope. Jane Foster's The Mighty Thor will join the game in the coming months as a tie-in to the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder movie. Devil's in the detail on this one though, since Crystal Dynamics did already lay the expectation that this new Thor is going to be a lot like the old Thor. So this is almost like a reskinning, but with maybe some touched up abilities here and there. Not exactly a reason to return to the game, but hey, a new character is better than nothing, I guess. Some fantastic news, the Bethesda launcher is shutting down. Commencing this week, if you fell for Todd's bullshit and purchased
You'll be able to transfer your games wallet and most of your save to Steam from April 27. Alright, Fallout 76 players, if you guys bought the game on Bethesda, do it. Oh wait, I have Doom Eternal gifted by Sudo in Bethesda launcher. Oh shit. Oh shit, I might need to do it up. Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
Fallout 76
Thank God we watched this video.
on this cursed launcher, you'll be able to migrate that file to Steam instead. Same goes for every other game that's existed on that launcher. Stuff like Quake Champions and Wolfenstein Youngblood. Remember that one? Man, oof. Anyway, there's some steps involved with this migration, so you can check Bethesda's website for more information. This is another one of those stories that broke just as the show was about to go to air last week, but Amy Hennig is working on a new Star Wars game. If you're unfamiliar with her work, she's the co-creator of a little series called Uncharted, and more importantly, one of the co-creators of the greatest vampiric soap opera ever made, Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. If you've been following her career, you know she was working on an ill-fated Star Wars title while employed by EA, when EA were like, how's this gonna make us $1 billion? So they canceled the project, and then Hennig left. She set up her own studio, Skydance Media, and this week they announced that they were working on a, quote, narrative-driven action-adventure game featuring an original story in the Star Wars galaxy, end quote.
That's nice.
It's a beautiful arc for a very deserving talent, and I can't wait to see what she produces. Finally, it's movie mania in the world of video games at the moment. Just this week, we got an update from the upcoming Mario movie, which was delayed by Miyamoto himself to April 7th next year. You know what they say? A delayed movie can be good, but our movie has Chris Pratt as the voice of Mario. What were we thinking? Outside of that, there were a number of other video games.
Dude, I forgot for a second that Chris Pratt's gonna voice Mario. Oh no. Why? It's a me, Mario.
Game movie announcements. The first is that we're getting a Streets of Rage movie, and it's being directed by the guy who directed John Wick. Not sure why he chose Streets of Rage when Double Dragon or even Golden Axe are right there, but that's what's happening, I guess. We're also getting a Minecraft movie, and guess who's in it? Jason Momoa. I really hope he plays the Ender Dragon. That'd be badass. The final reveal is that we're getting an It Takes Two movie, which is cool, I guess, but I don't understand why. I mean, the game wasn't about the story. It was about the co-op gameplay. Why does this need to be a movie? I'm not sure. Anyway, it's being made by The Rock, of all people, since his production company is fronting the cash, and he may also star in it. If you're unfamiliar with the story, it's about two people trying to mend their fractured relationship in service of a greater good. So my hope is that The Rock casts Vin Diesel, so these two can patch things up and get back to making Fast and the Furious movies. So what got announced or delayed this week? Well, Nintendo are working hard to make us all forget about those labor troubles, because this week they moved forward the release date of a major title and they locked in another release date far earlier than expected. The first title is Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which was meant to release in September, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Nintendo dropped a release date trailer revealing that the game has been moved forward and will now ship on July 29th. Obviously exclusive to the Nintendo Switch for now, but I'm sure we'll be able to repurchase it on lots of Nintendo consoles in the future.
I'm actually interested in this game only because one of the main character designs fucking sick. I forgot her name, but she looks fucking cool as shit. And I kind of want to try the game out just because of that.
At full price, of course. Xenoblade is a series that, for some reason, I really vibe with. I
Mio!
don't understand why exactly.
There she
I
is.
just think it's earnest storytelling, it's imaginative world building, it's incredible soundtrack, and it's solid combat. It just all really worked for me. I really loved X in particular, though that did get pretty grindy at times. Anyway, this is a real highlight for me, and it comes at a perfect time since there are zero major releases in July, though I still won't be able to review it on the embargo since Nintendo doesn't distribute review code to any YouTubers, because Nintendo does not understand any technology invented after the year 2006. The other surprising...
Hold up. Mio Xenoblade 3. Look at this. Oh god, it's kind of scary. I shouldn't Google this. I shouldn't Google image this. It's kind of scary. Yeah, I'm not gonna click any of this. There's already Zero Chan. God, let's not Google that on stream.
Was Splatoon 3, which was also meant to be arriving this year, but people expected it later, owing to the fact that Xenoblade was shipping in September. With that title moving forward, Splatoon 3 slid into September's DMs, and September was DTF. Man, that's an old acronym, isn't it? This latest installment in the hit third-person PvP shooter has new PvP and PvE elements. I've never played much Splatoon, but I've always heard good things about it. September is another very dry month of releases, so I'll be making time.
I don't really care about Splatoon.
Here's a real monkey paw special. We're getting a new Tales from the Borderlands game. Bad news? Gearbox are writing it. If you're unfamiliar with Tales from the Borderlands, this Telltale game was absolutely fantastic. You know how everyone kind of cringes at Borderlands writing? Well, Telltale figured out how to write a Borderlands story that was actually funny and cool and emotional, like properly emotional. I'm not joking when I say that there was a tear in my eye in this game's pivotal emotional climax. If you played it, you know the moment I'm talking about. With the collapse of Telltale, everyone assumed that we'd never get another one of these games, but this week at PAX, Randy Pitchford revealed that Gearbox were making a new one. This is worrying because an entire game based on narrative? Gearbox should not be making that game. I mean, I didn't mind Tiny Tina's Wonderland's writing, but I also really appreciated the gameplay gaps in between it. I don't know, man. I'm just hoping they pull in some of that old Telltale talent because they really nailed this the first go around, and I'd love to see that happen again. Tales from the Borderlands 2 has no release date yet, but it is out sometime this year. Speaking of Tiny Tina, it got an expansion this week, less than a month after the base game dropped. This seems a bit too soon to me, and if reports are to be believed, perhaps it was a little too soon. Games Radar ran the headline, quote, "The first Tiny Tina's Wonderlands DLC has been dubbed one of the worst Gearbox has ever dropped," end quote. The subreddit was aflame this week with people complaining about just how little content there is in this paid DLC, saying it equated to little more than a side quest, significantly less than previous Gearbox DLCs, which have had a strong reputation for always adding a meaty amount of content. There are at least 3 more of these DLC drops included in the Season Pass, so hopefully Gearbox can do better the next time around.
Yikes.
Do you guys not have phones? These words.
Do you guys not have phones, chat?
The reveal of Diablo Immortal solidified as one of the biggest flops in video game
fucking
announcement history.
gotcha gamers.
Blizzard went dark on Diablo Immortal after that. Very dark, in fact. You might not have known it, but they've been running beta tests on this mobile exclusive for nearly 2 years, steering well clear of any marketing or hype building that entire time. Well, that period of radio silence has come to an end because this week, Blizzard announced that Diablo Immortal is coming to both Android and iOS on June 2nd, and get this, it's coming to PC too. That was very unexpected because the whole "do you guys not have phones" thing was said in response to a question about a PC port, with Blizzard back then being unequivocal that no PC port was in development. The surprise about face is a welcome one because I gotta tell you, I did a preview of this a while back and I liked it. It's actually pretty good. I'd play some more of this if the microtransactions aren't horrible, which they probably will be, to be honest. But being able to play this across both PC and mobile with cross-progression enabled, that would be nice. Blizzard also confirmed that the PC port will support controller and WASD movement, which is a new for a PC Diablo game, and I wonder if we'll see that make its way to Diablo 4 as well. Anyway, this is all free to play, so you can sign up on Android, iOS, and Battle.net now.
Okay, we can check it out since it's coming on PC.
Golf Racing is a little title I previewed last week in my Put This on the Radar segment. Back then, it didn't have a release date on its upcoming beta, but that's now changed. The beta kicks off on April 28th, and if you want to get in on the action, just sign up over on their website. Loot River, right. Now, this is another one I profiled a long time ago in Put This on Your Radar.
Play this.
Because the moment I saw it, I was like, like, dude, that looks fucking sick. It's a top-down action game, but the trick is that most of it's played on these floating platforms that you can control that'll let you either avoid, engage, or dupe enemies. More recent trailers have showcased a fairly deep loot system as well, with a variety of weapons and accompanying combat styles. The art style is what really got me though.
It's so
awesome.
sexy.
I wasn't expecting this one until much later, but it turns out it's arriving very soon indeed. May 3rd, exclusive to PC and Xbox, where it will be a day one Game Pass release. The Shadowrun trilogy is one of the defining cyberpunk experiences, and to this day is still a go-to if you're looking for a solid tactics-based CRPG. The games have lived on PC to this point, but come June 21st, they'll be available in a single bundle for PS4, Xbox, and Switch. Another console port worth checking out is They Always Run. This is a 2D side-scroller with some absolutely top-notch animations. I've also profiled this one in the past since it looks so damn good. The reviews for this one were great back in October of last year when it launched on PC, and come May 19th, you'll be able to grab this one for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Achilles Legends Untold was revealed a little while back. It describes itself as a Souls-like action RPG, though obviously with an isometric perspective and centered on the Greek demigod of Homeric fame.
Oh, this looks
kind of
cool.
interesting, especially since it supports co-op play. It just got an early access release date, May 12th, exclusive to PC. Outriders, this old chestnut. Very divisive title, actually. A lot of people really like this one for its awesome action and loot. A lot of people really hated this one for its horrendous game-breaking bugs and its limited endgame. I definitely fell into the former camp. I really enjoyed this one despite its myriad issues. The developer, People Can Fly, has spent the last year tightening the screws on this one, and it's in much better shape now, and they're capping all of that off with the release of their first major expansion titled World Slayer. It hits on the 30th of June, and it delivers an entirely new campaign, new enemies, new gear, and a new tier of gear and difficulty, a long-tail progression system, and an entirely new endgame mode. It's a pretty chunky update. It is paid DLC, but on face value, it looks like there's enough content here to justify the price tag. We'll find out definitively when we get our hands on it in June. And finally, Blizzard pulled the curtain back on the next chapter in the World of Warcraft saga. Titled Dragonflight, the next major expansion is set on a new destination, which had earlier been hidden from all eyes due to dragon magic. The reveal cutscene was a little on the slow side, just this rock dude taking his sweet ass time to flip a light switch, but it's far too early to glean anything meaningful from this little tease. The MMO landscape is evolving quickly, with traditional competitors like Final Fantasy XIV going gangbusters, and new entrants like Lost Ark doing really well. So WoW needs a big win, since the last few expansions haven't done the franchise any favors.
Damn, new race!
No release date on this one yet, but it's almost certainly going to hit sometime between
It's a Dragonkin?
October of this year. So what came out last week? Not a whole lot, but a few interesting things to talk about. The first one is Teardown, a voxel-based heist game where you have to plan the perfect, speedy heist, and you can demolish whatever needs to be demolished to get the job done. This one was in early access for about 18 months, where it was garnering nothing but glowing reviews on Steam. It shipped 1.0 last week, and the same glowing Steam reviews kept rolling in, with the title sitting at 96% overwhelmingly positive. Critics also got to sit down with the finished product and they were equally impressed. PC Gamer scored it a 9 out of 10, saying, quote, "Teardown is an endlessly delightful destruction sandbox," end quote. While God is a Geek echoed the sentiment, scoring it a 9 out of 10 and saying, quote, "Teardown is ridiculously fun, featuring a fully destructible voxel environment and the freedom to cause as much chaos as you wish," end quote. This one is a little taxing on your PC, especially if you start tinkering with sandbox variables, but if your hardware can handle it, then there's a good chance you'll get a kick out of this one. Godlike Burger is a single-player take on Overcooked, with the added twist of needing to murder your patrons so you can serve them as meat patties to other patrons. That's pretty dark, not gonna lie. The game hit PC this week to okay reviews, currently sitting at 74% mostly positive on Steam. The only critic review at the time of writing was from Destructoid, who scored it a 5 out of 10, saying, quote, "An exercise in apathy, neither solid nor liquid. Not exactly bad, not very good either, just a bit meh, really," end quote. If it's bad you're looking for, then can I interest you in Postal 4, No Regrets, which hit this week, and holy shit, this has been an interesting review cycle. The game sits at 31 on Open Critic, making it...
Is Saints in the chat? Oh no. Saints, what happened? What happened to the game?
Of the lowest rated releases of the year, IGN scored it a 2 out of 10, saying, quote, Postal 4, No Regrets, is cringingly juvenile and painful to play in between all the times it's hard crashing, end quote. I thought that was bad. GameSpot scored it a 1 out of 10, saying, quote, Postal 4, No Regrets, is an abysmal video game with no redeeming qualities other than the fact that it eventually ends, end quote.
Jesus.
The developer, Running with Scissors,
Christ.
responded with characteristic glee to these reviews, retweeting them on the official account, saying, spank us harder. The flip side to the critic reception is the fan reception, which has been very different. The game sits at 62% mixed, which is by no means good, but it's a far cry from the 1s and 2s that the critics are handing out. I haven't played this one, I've only seen reviews and gameplay, so I can't judge it fully, but I can say that it definitely looks pretty shit, at least on face value.
Oh my god, I see
But
a...
at the same time, Postal games
Is that
aren't trying to
vagina?
be cultural or technical touchstones. They're just trying to be dumb shooty games that let you do things that
This is
most
so
other games don't let you
fucking
do.
dumb.
And it looks like at least some part of that objective was hit here. I have no plans to play this at all, so if you have played it, then please let me know in the comments below what you think. I'm genuinely interested to hear your take.
What's up, Tarda?
So what's coming out this week? No huge releases this week, but there are quite a few indie titles worth keeping an eye on. First up is Dune Spice Wars, which launched yesterday into early access, exclusive to PC. I was chatting with my friend Jake Baldino about this one, and he was like, oh, I haven't heard of that one. And I'm like, oh, it's an RTS based on Dune.
I'm gonna skip on
He's
this
like,
one. I'm not a big fan of
Dune? And I'm like,
RTS.
what the fuck? It's like, you know, the classic sci-fi novel, the recently released cinematic blockbuster, hello? And he's like, oh, Dune. And I'm like, oh my god. This from a guy who pronounces Mario as Mario. Anyway, Dune.
Wait, is it Dune or June? Dune. How do you pronounce it? Dune. Pronunciation.
Dune,
Oh, wait.
June,
Okay. British and American have a different pronunciation. Fair enough.
Dune Spice Wars is an RTS. It looks pretty rad. I'm gonna play it. Love
Hey,
it.
says my name.
King Arthur Knight's Tale is a tactics-based RPG that offers up a dark, gritty retelling of the classic legend. This one released into early access at the beginning of the year and yesterday launched into 1.0. Feedback for this one has been strong, currently sitting at 92% very positive on Steam. I have heard good things about this one from a few people that I follow. The Stanley Parable is getting a new edition today. It's called the Ultra Deluxe Edition.
We're gonna play this tomorrow. Or on Friday when I stream, basically. Keep an eye out.
And
I'm pretty excited.
it's promising to be a fairly substantial upgrade over the base game, preserving everything that was there, but adding new content, new decisions, and new secrets. The game is also getting a visual facelift and some new accessibility options. I've never played the original, so this is a big week for me. Looking forward to finally getting this one off my pile of shame. Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt is a vampire battle royale game that released into early access last year, exclusive to the PC. Over the last 12
No,
months,
search up
it's
Dune.
sat at
It's just the
around
pronunciation is
100
Dune.
concurrent players on Steam. That is not good. The developer, Sharkmob, just announced that the title is shipping 1.0 today, exclusive to PC and PS5. It's free to play, but like it was free before as well, and it was still averaging like 100 concurrent players. So I don't know, man. I feel like if you want to experience this one, then you better get on it in the launch week, because I don't know if this one's gonna last.
Yeah.
Game of the next generation, Bugsnax,
Bugsnax!
was once the crown jewel in PS5's exclusive lineup, but no more. Tomorrow, those of you on Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and PC will be able to experience this weird Pokemon Snap meets body horror hybrid. Bonus for Xbox players, this will be available on Game Pass for cloud, console, and PC. Not too shabby. Dorfomantic, which I'm almost certainly mispronouncing, but anyway, do me a favor and at least take a look at this one. I played this one during the Steam Next Fest last year. This one is just so goddamn relaxing. It's a puzzle game crossed with like one of the sim management builder games, and you build pleasant landscapes by connecting different tiles, and it's just so nice. It doesn't ask much of you, but it delivers such a chill vibe so effortlessly. I'm not the only one who thinks so, by the way. This thing has been in early access for about a year, and it's got 97% overwhelmingly positive with 13,000 reviews. That is a spectacular result. There's definitely something special going on here. So like I said, do take a look if you get a chance. It's releasing on PC on the 28th.
Maybe we should check this
no
out.
word on other platforms yet. Rogue Legacy is getting a sequel. It's called Rogue Legacy 2. Very inventive title, but hey, you don't mess with what works. This one's been in early access for nearly 2 years, so the team has put a huge amount of work into this one. I did not play the first, but I'm just about to boot up the second since I just got sent a code for it. This one also arrives on the 28th and is also exclusive to the PC. Final release of the week is Nintendo Switch Sports. Geez, that one really snuck up on us, didn't it? Sequel to the 4th highest selling game in the history of video games, Wii Sports, which sold over 82 million units. And yes, I know that most of those came free when you bought a Wii, but that doesn't matter. The point is, a lot of people played that shit. And a lot more people are going to play it now because it's coming to the Switch. This new edition includes both new and returning sports, with the same focus on motion controls and wildly swinging your arms about.
This kind of gives like, you know, casual fun.
Your little brother in the head, like, oh, I didn't mean to, Mom. We were playing Wii tennis. Big brothers out there know what I'm talking about. Nintendo Switch Sports probably won't sell 40 million units, but it will surely do very well for itself. It's out on the 29th. Put this on your radar.
I forgot what it's.
About 12 months ago, Selaco showed up out of nowhere and blew the doors off the joint. Literally. It's a game built on an updated version of the Doom engine, GZ Doom, and right off the bat, the interactivity of these environments is nuts.
I'm down to check this out.
Shootout shutters and windows and signage and wall panels. It's a level of responsiveness that you rarely see in boomer shooters. That's not all though. The aesthetic looks like an animated adaptation of RoboCop, and I mean that in the best possible way. The action looks thick and satisfying. The sound design is rich and detailed. There's just so many little touches here that make this feel so believable, while also just looking like a ridiculously fun shooter. This one comes